On the farm, a happy and healthy cow is very important, and that is why each day farmers make sure that they keep everything as clean as they can. It is definitely not the prettiest or most fun part of a farmer's job, but it is essential. As part of our week-long look at a day on the farm with the Jefferson County Farm Bureau, our Brian Dwyer takes us through the process and along the way learns how farmers not only try to be better neighbors, but also help preserve the earth.
Now, around the same time the cows go in to get milked, the barn has to get clean. Now, it's not the most pretty job in the world, but it's got to get done.
10 years ago, when we had a tie stall, it was all by hand. You had to scrape the manure behind the cows into the gutter cleaner and scrape the walkway all by hand. And now we have these barns where it's a freestall and the cows just roam, so every 8 hours when they go to the parlor, we clean the floor completely down to the concrete, and we do it with skid steers, and it's much, much easier.
Easier and more profitable. The cleaner the milk, the bigger the check. Farms want as little bacteria in it as possible.
When the cows walk, you don't want them splashing up on the other cows' udders and getting any bacteria on their teats. Or they could splash and get the manure up into their beds where they sleep.
It can also get messy at the cow's dinner table, and cleaning that is also much easier than before.
And while these cows are eating, they have a tendency to sometimes push the feed so far they can't reach it anymore. So that's when you've got to take the shovel and push it back in. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, I guess that's a lot easier than using a shovel.
Although nothing is as easy as this. Remember that farm that has the robotic milker? Well, it also has another robot, the Lely Juno, an automatic feed pusher. No need for 24-hour staffing or just ignoring the job completely overnight.
And those cows are, they can't get to the feed by morning because the feed's not pushed up. This guy pushes feed up 24 hours a day. Every hour he does it. I don't have to think about it.
Thoughts that the Schellen Farms in the town of Adams is putting into being a good neighbor. It's all about the environment. A $600,000 system that turns manure into renewable energy. This is called an anaerobic digester. Manure is stored in this gigantic tank. It's used to create electricity, saving $60,000 a year on the farm's power bill.
We warm that manure to about 101 degrees, and it creates an environment where the methane is produced by the bacteria in the manure. We capture that gas, and then we power an engine with it that drives a generator.
Any extra manure is stored in this lagoon, but instead of letting methane gas hit the air, it has this cover. It contains the gas so it can be burned off.
Because methane is 23 times worse than CO2, than carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. It destroys the atmosphere and helps in global warming.
It then takes that manure, which minus the methane has a, let's say, more decent smell, and uses it to fertilize crops. Schellen even hired a professional to make sure it's done as safely as possible.
We have to go ahead and we have to take soil samples and test the manure and everything like that to be able to make sure that we are applying manure at the right time in the right fashion, at the right rates, and so that we minimize impacts to water and air.
We all have a responsibility to make sure that we take care of the environment and the resources that we've been given here to live with.
And each day, farmers spend a lot of time with the animals, making sure they're healthy. Tomorrow, Brian will show us how the farm takes care of their cows and how sometimes the hard work deserves a reward. Cows actually get their very own spa days, and that is a day on the farm with Brian Dwyer tomorrow.